Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. It is Monday, January 2nd, 2023. And I just noticed I got a dent in my hat. What's going on? Here's my Steelers hat, honoring the Pittsburgh Steelers for winning their game against one of the most hated teams, the Ravens. So, quick shout out to the Steelers. There you go. I hope everybody is having a good year so far. We're 2 days in. We're 2 days in. I know there was a lot of celebrations across the planet, obviously for New Year's. I saw some crazy stuff happen. There was a video that I saw today. I forget what state it was in or what city, but they had, I think, a 18-minute fireworks demonstration. It was supposed to, be choreographed and do all this cool stuff. And a computer glitch caused everything to go off at one time. It was pretty spectacular. Let's hope that's not laying the groundwork for 2023. But could you imagine that? You go to a fireworks show and everything goes off at once and it's like, okay, see you folks. That would be scary, honestly. Some of the pyrotechnics that are involved with that stuff and the concussive effect of the explosions and all that, that would be pretty scary to see all that go off all at one time. But we did have a safe, Happy New Year, and we didn't go anywhere. We didn't. In fact, I went to bed. I didn't even stay up to wait because to me it's just another day. I get it, but I'd rather get some sleep. As it turns out, we have some new neighbors on our street. Apparently, they may have been using small arms fire for their fireworks. My wife was telling me that she kept hearing like pop, 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 and then a smaller pop, 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 like pistols and rifles or something. So, good times. Good times. I hope nobody got hurt, and I hope nobody ended up getting. If they were shooting into the air, I really hope it didn't go anywhere that would cause problems. But that's like one of the worst things you can do is discharge firearms. So let's hope that everybody played it safe. Let's see who's here tonight. Let's see who's here. First one in is Rick Gain. Happy New Year, gang. My New Year's resolution is to try to do all the things I didn't do in 2022, which I also didn't get done in 2021. I'll see if I have better luck this year. Why do today what you can put off to tomorrow, right? Yeah. We're all guilty of that. There's always something we haven't finished or haven't gotten done, but yeah. Hopefully you can get some more done this year, Rick. Terry Keithley checking in. Happy New Year, everyone. And Barry, please hit the thumbs up and like button. Thank you kindly. Yes. Thank you, Terry. By the way, you get a bell, if you're here. Reward system. If we have any new viewers tonight, I like to give the little bell as a reward for your participation. So glad you're here. If you're new, if you're not, well, I'm glad you're here too. Rick Stevenson, good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year's. Same to you, Rick. Same to you. And I have to give a shout out for the coffee. Mr. Mikey, 1949, Happy New Year from South Texas. 86 today. Ooh, okay. Glad you're here, Mr. Mikey. I will point out that today we've had our temperature in our house set at 68 degrees. It was warmer outside today than it was inside our house. So I opened up the doors and the windows and I turned on the attic fan to pull in the warm, moist air to warm up the house. Pretty interesting, considering 2 weeks ago we were at 9 degrees or whatever. Yeah, let's not let that happen again. Glad you're here, Mr. Mikey. Troy Justit, Happy New Year, gang, from coastal Georgia. Let's hope for a better year than last. Yeah, we got two more, apparently, 2 more years to go before hopefully we can fix things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Glad you're here, Troy. Robert checking in. Happy New Year's all. Watching from the shop since spring is here. Almost 80 degrees again today, but miserably humid compared to nice and dry yesterday. Well, I'm glad you're here, Robert. And I should mention Robert got a new vise today. Harbor Freight had a sale. He took advantage of it. So congrats on the new vise. Bob Shoemaker, Happy New Year all and good evening from Oklahoma. Glad you're here, Bob. Bob Knoll, good evening, Happy New Year to everybody from Detroit. Glad you're here, Bob. Steve Grimes, good evening from Central PA. How about them Steelers? How about them Steelers? Yes. Bob, I bought some frame connectors. They're on the way. I've already got my torque box, and we're getting ready to put that in this coming week. Awesome. That's good. Good to hear. Good to hear. Tommy checking in from the Busted Knuckle Garage, Birmingham, saying hello and Happy New Year. Right back at you, Tommy. Aaron E., Happy New Year. Same to you, Aaron. Art Man, haven't made it for a show in a long time. Happy New Year. I'm glad you're back, Art. I'm still here. Monday nights, 7 o'clock. E.J. McConaughey. I'm saying McConaughey. Hope that's right. McConaughey. Glad you're here. Happy New Year to all. Lightning Rod. Enjoying leftover pork, sauerkraut, and mashed potatoes in your home state of PA. Hey, yes. That's what we had. We had a pork loin, sauerkraut, kielbasa. Yes, got to have some kielbasa in there, or kielbasi, however you want to say it. Yeah, and there's leftovers too, and mashed potatoes. I'll tell you what, my wife did something different with the mashed potatoes last night. They were probably the best mashed potatoes I've ever had, honestly. They were really, really good. Rick, I hope the new dryer is working out well. It is so far, from what my wife has told me. Happy wife, happy life, right? So she's happy, I'm happy. Jerry checking in. Hey, Barry, howdy y'all. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Wherever you may be right now. Crash Rider, Happy New Year from Southern Indiana. I heard quite a few pops too. Uh-oh. We lost something. Okay. Okay, so I heard quite a few pops too. Yes. So I'm sure there's more to that sentence because it says which, but glad you're here, Crash Rider. Yeah, it's scary sometimes. It's scary sometimes. I also saw a video clip earlier today of some guy in Chicago. It sounded like a war zone. The guy was trying to just get home from a party or something, and he's walking on some dark street or whatever, and all you hear is gunshots everywhere, like it was a competition. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. David Gless, curious what brand of coffee do you drink on this cast? This is 1820, I think is what the name of it is. 1820. Special delivery. Good stuff. I think that's the name of it, 1820. Good question. Glad you're here, David. Dennis Paulson, Happy New Year, Barry and gang. 18 Fahrenheit in the Canadian Rocky Mountains. Well, that's cold. I was like looking at that oddly for a second there. in the old days of what, MySpace or whatever they had, or you'd have like AOL chat stuff like that. And I remember that stuff years ago when you had dial up, where it was, all that fun stuff. That was, people would put that like age and sex, like 18 female. So when I saw that, I was like, 18 female? What? 18 Fahrenheit in the Canadian Rocky Mountains. Glad you're here, Dennis. Maybe I'm just old. AOL, remember? Chat. AOL, chat, whatever it was. AOL online thing. Nobody? Yeah. Harvey checking in. Hello, Barry, and Happy New Year from unseasonably warm New Jersey. Glad you're here, Harvey. I have to ask, did you get that video together on the breaks? Just have to ask. Not that I'm poking you. Just asking. But glad you're here, Harvey. Dave Conville. Good evening. Happy New Year. Glad you're here, Dave. Oh, we have our second Dave. Dave Britton checking in. Happy New Year. 2 Daves in a row. That's right next to each other. That's pretty cool. Crash Rider. Okay. Says, which weren't fireworks? Hit the like button also. Yes. Talking about his previous statement. He heard some pops that weren't fireworks. Yes. Yes. Dawn's Manufactory. Happy New Year, everyone from Chile, PDX. Betsy is progressing. That is good news. I've seen some updates on the videos. I've seen, posts. I get notifications. But again, it's that time of me being able to click on it and go, let me see what's going on. So I'm happy to hear you're making some updates. Or making some progress, I should say. Aaron, Chicago sounded like a war zone. Who'd have thunk it? Yeah, but this was like special war zone time. This was, we all know that Chicago, I don't know how many people get shot every day there. I don't get it. But this on a video, it was absurd how much was going on. It literally sounded like a war zone. Dawn, my resolution is no surprise, finish Betsy and drive her. Well, that's good. I'll go with that. Dave Britton. About 10 years or so ago, my brother-in-law who lives in Michigan was actually shot from a bullet that was shot from New Year's. It stuck into his shoulder. See, that's what I'm saying. People don't realize those bullets have to come down somewhere. You had to think, I'm just shooting it into space. It's gone forever. No. It's coming back somewhere. Sorry to hear about your brother. Hope it didn't cause him any long-term problems. Rick, how could anybody forget all the compact disc America Online filled our mailboxes with in the late 90s? You're absolutely right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Rick Stevenson, the 1820 coffee comes from either Panama or Costa Rica. Thank you, Rick. And it's good. It is good. Especially in my special cup. Remember that. The special cup. Mike Pagliarini, Happy New Year to all from Rhode Island. Finally got my rear torque box fully welded in, even put the spring in place. Well, that's good news. Now you have the rest of the year to finish it up, right? Get it all back together. Richard Byrne, my resolution is to work on the K-Code Mustang. Finishing it is questionable. Well, hey, getting work done is positive. So keep that positive spirit. Get it done. Rick, people on the 4th of July and New Year's, they want to fire guns in the air. Have to learn the purpose of blanks. Yeah, but I don't know where you can even get blanks, honestly. I don't know if we could buy those or not. I don't know if you can go to a ammunition supply and buy blanks. I have no idea. The only blanks I ever saw or fired was in the military. And that was, for training purposes. So I don't even know if you can get blanks like that. I hope so. Mr. Mikey, my lovely wife gave me a t-shirt for Christmas which states, no, my car isn't finished yet. Yeah, I get it. Brian, when are you working on a 68 Camaro, 12 inches of snow in Minnesota? It's on the side burner. Camaro got pushed to the side burner. Got the Bronco to do. Got to get that done. And then after that is rolling in a 69 Mustang. I had wanted to use I was under the impression after talking with AMD that they were going to provide me with the panels to do to finish the Camaro, but I think they just decided not to. So at this point, it's just pushed to the side. I want to get it finished, but I've got other things to do first. Working on this and the 69 Fastback that'll be coming soon. Good question. Sorry I don't have a good answer. Harvey, this week I could have made a drywall video and appliance setup from Jared's new house. Break video soon. May start editing tonight. Thanks for poke. Nice coffee mug. Yeah. Yep. That's a special coffee mug. All right. Remember that. Got to keep that in mind down the road. Oh, I if you remember, there was a person had jumped on here in a conversation. I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, and they had mentioned about a having a '69 fastback that they wanted to sell, and we did make contact, and he sent me some pictures of it. It's rough. I mean, anymore it seems like that's what you're going to get. You're either going to find one that was a one owner or second owner car that was packed away somewhere, or you're going to find one that needs everything, and that's where the scale is right now. I haven't seen very many that are in the middle. So anyway, it's on the lower end of that scale, honestly. Now, I still may be interested in it, but I need to go actually lay my hands on it, look at it, and see if it's worth my investment. But that's debatable, so we'll see how that goes. He had a couple other cars he sent me pictures of too that he may be selling. Um, I think he had a '65 Chevy truck or something, and he had a what was it, 70, like a '78 Mustang 2 or something. I don't know if it's '78. I don't remember. Oddball, Mustang 2. But we'll see how it goes. I need to actually get a look at it and see if it's doable for me. Aaron, if you're still planning the traveling this summer, I have access to a large, well-lit barn and full shop with welding and air. Well, we're kind of we're slowing that down just a little bit, just a little bit. When I get on something like that, I'm ready to go. I get the idea. This idea has been in my head for so long, and my wife pointed out, that's what the wives are for, to help keep us hemmed in a little bit, keep that chain from tearing loose, right? And she commented, "You have other things to take care of," namely this Bronco is one of them, and the other Mustang, and there may be some other things that I need to address prior to jumping with both feet into that. It's still high on the list, though. It's still high on the list. Now, whether I could do something in between, let's say without the camper, I don't know where you're at, Aaron. There is a possibility that I'm hearing some sort of weird noise. There's a possibility that I could make some sort of those close by trips. What is that noise? Y'all probably don't hear that. It might be Roger. Oh, I know what it is. Can you hear that? My wife went and got the trash can. So I hear this rumbling coming up the driveway. I'm like, what is that? It's the trash can. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Aaron, I don't know where you're at, but there may be a possibility I can do some of that this year, maybe, but we'll have to kind of stay calm. Dave, got a pic of that fastback to show us. I have a picture on my phone, but it's really not much you can see. It's a green fastback, and I don't even know if it's the original color or not. But it's going to need some work. Floor pans are gone. I know there's rust I can see rust in the front of the door, a variety of things. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. If I can work something out that it makes sense for me to get it, then I'll probably try. But at this point, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Dave, I'm slowly working out the bugs in the 29 Model A Woody and am occasionally experiencing death wobble as I'm driving. Are you familiar with this at all? Any advice on where to start? That is not uncommon. I run into that on occasion in my Model A. And I've tried to resolve it in different ways, and I really haven't gotten a good answer. I think because I rebuilt all the kingpins and all that junk, put all that new stuff in there, and I think there's something about the 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 assembly, right? Because you've got that single leaf spring going in there. Um, there's something. I think in the old days they would like heat something up and tweak something to rebend the wishbone or whatever, but I don't have a good answer um, on how to fix that. My Model A will do it too occasionally, but I don't have a good answer for you. Sorry. Wild Bill, my resolution is to finish my 65 4x4 F250. Hello from Arizona. Glad you're here, Bill. I like that truck. That's a cool truck. That is a cool truck. I had the at my dad's junkyard. I had the half-ton version of that. Pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure it was the half-ton version. I don't think it was an F250, but it was a cool truck. I like the lines on it. Aaron, Northeast Indiana, not close enough for you for a close by trip. Okay, well, we'll see. Wild Bill, but first finish the blast cabinet. Okay, well, hey, gotta have a checklist of things you need to take care of, right? Dave Britton, is the fastback complete but rough? Yeah, it appears to be complete. It appears to be complete, but it is pretty rough. It is pretty rough. I know you can see through the floor. I know that much. Condition of the engine is unknown. Transmission's unknown. It's got some aftermarket wheels on it that are, not what I would want to put on it, but nonetheless, that's what's on it right now. So it's from what I've seen so far, it looks pretty rough. Larry, Happy New Year, everyone. Checking in from Japan. Glad you're here, Larry. Hope all is well. Dave says, sounds very interesting for you. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Rick, what shade of blue is that green fastback? Dark. It's actually a dark green, but I don't even know. I think I don't know if it's the original color or not. I have no idea. I'd have to look it up, get a better look at it. Dawn, my dad was a Model A fanatic. The easy fix was a steering damper if the wobble tried to kill him. Okay. So, a steering damper. I guess I'd have to look it up and see what they make for the Model A that would be available. Mine does it at like 35, 40 miles an hour. It'll start to shimmy and shake, and then I get a little above that, and it tends to smooth out. So it's either go slow or try to go top speed. Mason, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. He says, hey, Joe Daddy's Garage, where did you get the blue thing that's on the garage door? Also, where can I get one at? Those are moving blankets from Harbor Freight. That's exactly what those are. They were like, I don't know, $7, $8 a piece at the time when I bought them. And I using the tool magnets, the long bar magnets that they sell that you can screw to a wall or whatever and put your screwdrivers on. That's what's holding all those up. So you can see it up there at the top. The black pieces. Why's my arm not working? Okay, there it is. That's what's holding it up. So it's all across the top and the sides, and that's what I'm using. So it's helping insulate the garage. Good question, Mason. Dave Conville, thanks. I'm going to start going through it part by part. I did read about the leaf spring being fatigued, and that's a very good possibility too. It is. The other thing, like my car doesn't have shocks on it. I never replaced them. The ones that were on it failed. There was nothing to them. It was just a housing basically. So I don't have the shocks on there. Now I don't notice anything different as far as a ride. I don't know that would come into play with the steering geometry at all. I mean, it shouldn't, but maybe it does. I don't know. So, Doyle Walker, Happy New Year all. Glad you're here, Doyle. Mason, I've been doing good Joe Daddy's Garage. Been dealing with a cold lately, but I'm getting better. Okay, that's good to hear, Mason. Bob, on bar magnets, they work perfect. I got them in Michigan hanging up all. Yes. Yeah, those magnets are great. I think at the time, Harbor Freight had those on sale. You know, like I said, they're like this long, which is what, probably about 18 inches or so, maybe 20. When I got them, they were on sale for like $2.99, and they work great for holding up those blankets. Mason, your garage door, I take it, must not be insulated. No, it's not. Nope, it's just a steel roll-up door. Donnie Williams, anyone do a T5 conversion and had clearance issues with brake booster to hydraulic master cylinder issues? Thanks. The only one that I know for sure that's done that conversion is Harvey, Rally Cat Garage. So maybe he has some insight on that. I don't know. But we can see. I want to just check something real quick. Okay. All right. Dave, thanks, Don. I was thinking about the damper. My wobble kicks in occasionally at about 28 miles per hour. Yep. I haven't been brave enough to accelerate into the wobble. Yeah. Yeah, mine's not that severe, but it's enough that it's shaking like. So, yeah. Mason, does Mr. Cool do a good job making the shop warm? It does. It does. Depending on the outside temperature. Now, of course, what's interesting is since this garage, I have the spray foam insulation in the rafters in the roof, and of course the rest of the shop is insulated. Like today, the temperature outside got up to 69 or 70 degrees, but inside here, it was like 50. So, although the insulation works good to heat this, it also prevents the heat from coming in, which is okay. It's okay. As long as I have Mr. Cool working, it seems to take care of it. And as long as the temperature isn't negative 10 degrees, it actually uses the air that's outside to generate heat, and it seems to work. Doyle, has anyone ever replaced the seals in a Saginaw power steering housing, and was it hard to do? That's a good question. I have not. Maybe somebody has an answer. Maybe. Good question, Doyle. Mason, my grandpa has been thinking about getting a gas hanging heater for his garage. Yeah, they're great, but insulation is the key. Harvey says, give me a few minutes to measure the adapter block against the booster on our white 68 Mustang. So that's in relation to Donnie's question. So he's going to measure the adapter block. Okay. So I don't know if he bought an adapter block or he made an adapter block. We'll find out. Here's the question I'm going to throw out there, because I know that I've got a pretty good understanding of the paint processes and primers and all those different things. And I made a Patreon video, and I showed some stuff about the Bronco. And I mentioned that I'm going to be using the U-Pole Raptor bedliner material to cover the whole front of the vehicle. So the outer panels here, the inside of the engine bay, the front of the firewall, and the core support, it's all going to get sprayed with the Raptor. The difficulty is a lot of that is actually galvanized metal. Like the humps over the wheels, that's all galvanized. And so my original idea was to prep it all, clean it, and spray epoxy. And then some comments were made that said epoxy doesn't want to stick to galvanized. So then I started looking up Raptor, and I found that they have a spray adhesion promoter. And another thing that I read about was the idea that you can take white vinegar, apparently, and wipe down galvanized metal, and that is supposed to clean it and make it more prone to accept a spray. So if anybody has any insight on that, any ideas, any thoughts, at this point, I think it'll be fine to use the adhesion promoter. What I found is it's interesting. Whoever actually put all this body together, there's a mix here. You've got the bottom section is like Dynacorn, and it's got the weld-through primer on it, and then the dog houses or wheel houses that go over the wheels, they are kind of like almost like ducting, like you'd have in a business. It looks like that because it's like bent over and then spot welded. So it's mimics what they had in them originally, as far as a shape. But I don't know if the originals were more of a stamp piece, and they don't want to replicate that exactly, so they are using angles, to, because I know that the original did have angles, but it almost feels like it's just a variation of the original design. But along with that, all those pieces are galvanized. Also, the firewall, I cut in a box for the ECU, and the that was I found was galvanized, even though whoever put it together had sprayed weld through primer on top of it. So I was thinking initially that it was just weld through primer. Then I started cutting it, and I realized after I was grinding into it, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's galvanized. So anyway, the plan, of course, is to get it all in the bedliner material, and I want to make sure that it's done to where it's not going to, obviously come loose. Now, I don't know about the company that sprayed the whole underside of it, if they did that. I have no idea. I can assume they did, but I don't know, and that's not really my concern at this point. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm just trying to make sure I have enough knowledge going into it, so I don't make any mistakes, right? Because we all share knowledge here and try to get stuff, resolve issues. So Mason says his grandpa's been working on insulating his garage, which takes time. Yes, it does. And is the Ford Bronco you bought for a project also what year is your... Oh, that's not mine. I'm doing this for a buddy of mine. It's a brand new body, but I don't know exactly what year they fall into. I don't know what the differences are between the first year they made them and the last year. Now, this is a body that's probably replicates 70, early 70s to the end of the run. But I don't know what the difference is specifically between the first design and the last design. I know this has the updated cutouts for the rear wheels. So it's got a real big tunnel up there, where the originals had a real low over the top of the wheel. Jerry, good evening from Middle Tennessee, and Happy New Year. Glad you're here, Jerry. Hope your shoulder's all healed up. Hope so. Let's see. Doyle, I would go to a home improvement store, buy some pipe, and use it to test the process, in my humble opinion. Well, that makes sense. I mean, I get that. That makes sense. I don't know if I want to... The gray area is the Raptor stuff. It has to be mixed in the bottle. So it's designed that you dump in X into the bottle, mix it up, and then spray it straight out of the bottle. I don't know what the ratio might be if I try to break that down, if I can get it, to make a simple mix. I don't know yet. But that's a good idea. Steve, vinegar is great. I use it to keep paint on Granada cowls in the 80s. Okay. Well, like I said, it just said take white vinegar and wipe everything down with white vinegar. I do know there is some overspray. Like you can see here, there's some paint already on top of that. So, I mean, I may not have any issues, but I don't know. But I can see that there's a, whoever worked on or built the body, they threw some paint in that area. So, you know what I'm getting at. It might be could be a problem, or it could not be a problem. I don't know for sure. Mason, the tall old picture hanging on the back wall that's got flames. Where did you get it? And get that? And that is way cool. You're talking about That that's a Metallica poster for their album Fuel, and it has a '55 Chevy on it with a crazy guy hanging out of it running the shifter. So, yeah, that's Metallica Fuel. My wife actually got me that poster. Jerry, shoulders on the mend, about 65% versus the left. Okay, well that's good. I hope that's good. Mr. Mikey, Bully Dog Adhesion Promoter was recommended to me by the paint pros, but specifically for paint to stick to plastic bumpers. Yes, and I've used that before. In this case, looking at the Raptor website, it says specifically the adhesion promoter is designed to go to galvanized. Now, I'll have to look at their instructions, obviously, and if it tells you to wipe it with this or that or the other, fine. But I don't see any problem, at least from what I'm hearing, that you can take white vinegar and wipe it down. Apparently that takes that powdery coating off of the galvanized and then apply the adhesion promoter. Because I was going to use epoxy, but I'm not going to use epoxy on this in this case. I'm not going to jump in between. I'm going to go straight to the undercoat or the bedliner material. I want to make sure I follow their directions as best I can to make it happen. So, Mr. Mason, I like Metallica. That's a cool poster. Yes, it is. And Fuel is a good album. I've got it on music CD. Yes. Yeah, that was one thing I talked about last week. One of the Christmas presents we got, our son and his wife bought me an AC/DC Back in Black album, and they also bought us a record player. You know, I don't know. We haven't opened it up yet. I don't know if it's I don't know if it has this built-in speaker or I don't know. It almost looks like something. It's a Bluetooth type of thing where you can connect it somehow. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But anyway, so yeah, I have AC/DC Back in Black album now, so I'm pretty happy about that. In other news, let me show you something I got. A package showed up just, I think it was yesterday. Because I need to do a video on this. And before I open this up and show you what's in there, I want to show you what else I have that relates to it. So if you remember, I had this company, Loki Thor, if you remember. They had sent me this jump starter with a built-in air compressor, and I can't tell you how good this is. Honestly, I have used this so many times just to air up a tire for somebody or air up a tire on one of my vehicles rather than drag out my air hoses outside the shop. I'll take this little thing, plug it in, pumps up the tire, does a good job. But this, and I've also used this to jumpstart people. So I'm really happy with this product. I also had the Hawkman company. They had sent me, a jump starter as well. But I like this. So what's funny about it is originally Loki Thor contacted me and they asked me if I would review that thing. I said, sure. What do you want me to do? And they said, well, first of all, we want you to buy it, make the video, and then we'll give you credit or we'll refund your money. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So then I had another company, probably not Loki Thor directly, but another provider, say, hey, would you want to make a video on this? I said, sure. They said, here you go. Boom. They sent me the thing. And like I said, I like that thing. It does a good job. Since that time, Loki Thor contacted me and said, hey, we saw your video. We liked it. And that was about it. I said, okay. Well, a couple weeks ago, they contacted me and they said, are you interested in making another video and specifically for them? I said, yeah. I said, what do you want? Or what do you need? And they said, give me your address. We'll send it to you. Okay. Now I'm happier with it. So anyway, they sent me this, and I'm going to do a whole video on this. But I kind of talked about this last week some. This is their latest thing. So it's a Loki Thor jump starter. I think it has air compressor and car washer. Yeah, jump starter, pressure washer, air compressor, emergency light, and it's a power bank. Okay, so anyway, this is going to be one of my videos that's going to be coming up pretty soon. I have to meet their demand because they asked me to do a video on it. So I was thinking about it. I've talked about the idea of getting the camper and traveling around and going places. And initially, whenever they offered this up, I was like, I don't know if I'm interested, And then so I think Robert had said to me, and my wife said, that might be kind of cool to have on a camper. I was like, you know what? You're right. Because the thing is, having a jump starter is crucial, right? Having the air compressor, that's probably pretty crucial to have in that case. And then the idea of having a pressure washer, it's like, wait a minute. It doesn't click in my head that that's a great idea. It doesn't. But the more I looked at it, I'm like, well, yeah, if you're out doing something, you're not going to have maybe a high pressure in a camper or something like that. You could connect this thing to your water system and, turn it up and get some pressure out of it. So anyway, I'm hoping to do a video on it within probably the next week or so. I had planned, and I still may release the video. I'm working on a video right now for this in preparation, like doing all this front end work. But I wanted to have that done. I wanted to have all this sprayed by this weekend. The problem is, I got to researching the adhesion promoter and that sort of thing, and I'm not gonna skip ahead just to get a video done and say here it is. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure I do this right. So I may have to hold off on that one simply because I need the materials to do the task. So the other one may come first, the Loki Thor thing. But anyway, it was like just one of those things. It's like, well, okay, I'll give it a shot. Why not? So anyway, look forward to getting that out there before too long. Yeah, Mason says he's got AC/DC Black and Black on vinyl. Yep. John Valuk. I'm guessing it's Valuk. I like the thumbnail 68. Yes. I saw that at a local event. Tried to find the owner. Could not find the owner. That car looks like it's original. 68 Shelby. Looks like it's original. Like wear and tear on the seats, faded paint. I was dumbfounded. It's convertible too. I was dumbfounded when I saw that thing. I don't know if I have any other pictures of it on my sidebar. Yeah, here it is. So there's a side shot of it. GT500. And there's a shot from the front. And I'm telling you, I mean, like, I'm looking at the thing, and I was drooling. I couldn't believe it that it had what at least appears to be, I'm going to say it might very well be original paint. And like I said, wear and tear on the seats, wear on the carpet, that sort of thing. And I could not find the owner. I don't know who owns it. I left him a note even. I put a note in there. I said, I would love to be able to talk to you about this and do a video on this car, and have not heard anything back. So, but thank you, John. Aaron, a car washer mixing electricity and water. Well, sort of. Sort of. I mean, you're not plugging it in. I'll have to do some more investigating on it, but we'll see. Lightning rod. The Ryobi 18-volt portable air compressor is very convenient too. Beats dragging around a tank or airlines. Well, that's what I'm saying. That little thing that I have. The video that I did on that, I pumped up the tire on my truck outside. It took like I timed it out, 15 minutes or something. And I think this newer version that they have is supposed to be like twice as fast. I think. Mr. Mikey, is that green Mustang a Diamante green? Are you talking about this? I have no idea. I have no idea what that color would be. Not a clue. Jerry says, what is the pressure of the washer? You know, I don't know for sure. I don't know if it says it on here. I know it had the on the side panel. It says 200 psi. 200 psi pressure. Now, granted, that's not a gas-powered, Honda pressure washer. You're going to have 2,500 psi, but 200 psi. It might be enough to get the mud off of you. Like, say you wanted to wash off a four-wheeler or something like that. I don't know. We'll find out. Lightning rod, lime gold, green, 68 Shelby color. I'll go with that. Sounds reasonable. Okay, so Harvey sent 2 pics. The Tina with manual brakes, white 68 Mustang with power booster, very close to the booster. I believe some weight reduction on the adapter would be possible and make a better fit. Okay. So let me download those 2 pics real quick. That's going to be nice to get those. Hang on just a second. I'm going to send an invite to Robert as well. Okay, so that's sent. Now let me get these pics up from Harvey. Let's see. I have to remove a couple pics. Okay. This is all real time, folks. You know it's not pre-recorded. So there's one picture. It's got to bounce off the satellites and hit the space shuttle. And then I got to get the second one. Okay, so he said that there's the 2 pics. I don't know which one's which. So let me open this first one. And I think this one must be. Okay, so there he's talking about the adapter for the clutch. That's what he was talking about. Did you disconnect that, or is that was an old picture? Like you just test fitted it up there? I'm assuming. So so you made that block, I assume. I assume you made that block to get it up out of the way, which makes sense. I don't know if that answers the question we had earlier, but yeah, you could definitely trim that down. So I don't know if that answers the question we had. And Harvey also says the booster is an aftermarket, slightly smaller diameter. And that was a test fit. Okay. So I forget who asked the question now. But I hope that helps out Donnie. I guess it was Donnie who's asking that question. So let us know if that answers because his question had clearance issues with brake booster to hydraulic master cylinder issues. So maybe that helps. I don't know. Okay, and then Donnie says, you must be running a 7-inch then. Appreciate the info. Okay. Lightning Rod says that Shelby, 68 Shelby GT500 convertible is one of 402 made. Yeah, and the guy's just out driving it like an idiot. Just out driving it around. I see you, Robert. Let me get caught up here. Jerry says that pressure washer is good for general washing. Yeah, I agree. And Dawn says the thumbnail looks like Betsy's original color, medium sage. Okay. All right, let's see what Robert is up to.
Oh, me, I'm up to no good.
Up to no good. There you are. Okay.
Well, I hope everybody had a good. I was going to say Thanksgiving because the brain's just not working. So. I'm close. I'm in the ballpark. It's one of the three main.
One of those holidays that are close together and as end of the year.
Yeah, one of those things.
So, what did you make for your New Year's meal? You have to have a special New Year's meal.
Oh, I just did that. I don't know if Genghis Grill. Where you go, you get a bowl, and they have all this meat stuff, and you put all the meat in it you want, and then you go. They have these things called vegetables. I'm not sure what they're for. They're just decorations you can put on top, and then you go over to a little further down the line, and you tell them how many eggs you want on it. They throw it on this big pan, and they cook it. And you put some sauce in it and put some eggs in there, and then they put it on top of rice. So there's some stuff underneath it. So that's kind of what I did. Just my own.
I haven't had that, but it sounds somewhat appealing.
Yeah, I was trying to fix the picture, and I don't know why it's doing it, but it's kind of grayish.
On here?
No, I don't. On my picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went into the settings. It's like, okay, let me go in and change this. Like, I had to turn off auto exposure or something. I turned that off. It looked great, but for some reason, it doesn't want to talk to the other software and do all that. Right.
So you just look like you're pale now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just matched my shirt.
Oh, Jerry says it was really good. So your Genghis.
Yeah, stuff. And I actually warmed up some of it for dinner for myself tonight. So
okay, that sounds good. Jerry says I had to mount my hydraulic clutch cylinder toward to the front of the left fender. Okay.
I was just turning you off on the TV.
Oh well, yeah, that's probably a good thing. Getting that reverb.
Yeah. Yeah, my Walmart special, the Black Friday deal one. It was too good a deal, It's like, it is nice when I get out here, and if I'm doing something, and I can just turn it on, let something play that I can listen to.
Yeah.
Look up to every once in a while, and it was cheap, so it
does. So, have you made any progress on the Mustang?
I wiped some of the dust off. Jerry took her, put some stuff on there.
Okay. I don't want to hear about the weird graffiti stuff on the car.
Yeah. She every time she gets in there, there's dust on it. She'll sit there and write something on it.
Okay, as long as it's not like cruel words and stuff, we'll be all right.
No. She doesn't do that. No. I probably will get all that suspension stuff out and just do my video on putting it on and then take it off, and that way I can just do that, edit it, and get that done and out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I just, getting up and walking was still sore for a while. Now it's to the point where in the morning it hurts. Afternoons, like now, it's like not so bad. So
yeah.
Don't do stupid things, and hurt yourself.
Well, just so everybody knows, we're talking about his new suspension kit he got from CPP, which I really like. I mean, it just looks tough and beefy and yeah. Now, here's a quick question though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Did you put those control arms on there?
Uh, they're just sitting there because that's all upside down.
Yeah,
That
that's what I
plate,
thought.
yeah,
Looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, there's no travel.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's just because it's sitting on the table, and you know, it just it. If I
yeah,
turned the plate upside down, it would look really funny sitting
it
there.
would. And
You
you
know,
wouldn't be able to read the CPP thing on it. So
yeah, and I haven't actually dry fit that on the car yet, but I'll do that really soon here. I'll probably start working on that next day or two here. I've been trying to get some more stuff out of here.
yeah,
You know, just you know how it goes.
he said you're pale from not eating vegetables.
I like my salad. It just belongs in a bowl, not on my hamburger.
I get it. I get it. So you're trying to get stuff out of the way.
Yeah, I've been trying to make just have room to just work in here because I tore that wall out that's over here.
Yeah,
I'm 90 degrees off from where I normally sit, but I tore that all out and I pulled everything out. And it's when I did that, I mean, you couldn't even walk in here because there was just stuff spread everywhere.
yeah,
And then I'm cutting 2x4s, cutting plywood, and putting all that up. So now I'm finally getting to the point where I can walk around and see how this actually do things
yeah. That's a good
and
thing.
find a new home for some of it.
Yeah. Michael says I'm very interested in that CPP kit and the install video would be helpful too. Yes.
Yeah, that's coming up pretty, and she was kind of poking me on that too. She said, "Hey, your video is actually getting views." I was kind of surprised, but so I was like, "Okay, I know I need to get that. I need to do that, get that filmed." But I'll do it. I'll install it on the car, and then I'm going to take it right back off because one, I don't want to get anything on it, and two, it screws up the weight balance of my rotisserie right now.
Yeah.
you know. So, but once I'll get that, and then I'll start. I've got some more, body filler stuff to keep working on and getting that smoothed out while I can get to it easily, and that's not too far off.
Jerry is saying he misspoke on a cylinder. He should have said his reservoir was mounted on the inner left fender. So that makes more sense. Thank you, Jerry. And Mr. Mikey, that stuff is a never-ending battle. Yes, it is. I've got plenty of it, and still, I've gotten rid of so much stuff in here, but there's still
Hmm.
plenty more to go.
Well,
So,
and it's like I can either store materials and tools or have a place to work. It's hard to do both in the
yeah,
same place.
yeah,
You can see up behind me. This is all lots of lumber up here. It's some of it's oak, some of it's maple, some of it's cherry, some of it's there's some mahogany, there's some walnut. You name it, it's up there, and it's just things like that. Just they get in the way.
they do. But unfortunately, I know from experience, those boards are not cheap.
No,
That's the
no.
problem. You can't say, well, I'll just toss it and go get another one someday. It's like, oh, wait a minute. They're charging, what, $10 a foot now or something for oak or whatever?
I haven't even looked recently, but I've got walnut up there. I've got some walnut that's over 2 inches thick,
Yeah,
and that stuff was a fortune before, and it's even more now.
yeah,
And the stuff like that is you don't get rid of it because it's what it costs. And I've got one hickory board that I actually had to cut down. It's the I cut it down as one 16-foot piece and then another piece. That's how long it was, and it was about a foot and a half or so wide.
wow,
It was a massive board.
yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's like okay, it's not easy to replace some of that stuff
Yeah.
anymore, especially for the price.
Harvey is saying to Donnie, the kit um, is a Mustang Steve conversion or T5 conversion kit. Hope the information helps. Okay, so yeah, Donnie, that's a Mustang Steve T5 conversion. So there you go. Dawn is saying, Robert, will you paint the car on the rotisserie? Seems like it would make it easy.
I've because it's not going to be a fancy color. It'll be probably a black or that was the plan, but it might change. But yeah, I mean, I could paint pretty much everything on the rotisserie except the tail panel. That messes me up because I have, to get the tail panel and that piece is mounted right here.
Yeah,
And I've thought about that if I redesigned that attachment on the back end of the car to kind of, so here's the back of the car so come this way, go down,
make it.
across, around, and hook inside.
Yeah.
That way, I could actually have access to it and be able to get up there and paint it. That's a possibility.
Well, here's the other thought. You're going to paint, let's say you paint the car black or whatever.
Hmm.
Why not paint the tail panel flat black and do it separate?
Yeah.
I mean, you could. You could
Well,
do all the other stuff and then mask that off.
mhm.
Just spray that by itself and make it an accent color.
And the other thing is, it's like, now I've seen some people that paint Mustangs, and they do it and they paint it, and they have to again put another coat of paint on it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's even if I painted the whole thing on the rotisserie, and the other stuff, the position you paint it at, because it's just a solid color.
Right.
It's
No
not a big deal.
metallics.
Exactly. So I mean, I could do that, put it all together, get it back on the ground, and if I don't like it, the worst thing that happens is, well, I go back and fix this, fix that, scuff it up, shoot another coat of paint on top, and call it done. You know,
Right.
it's it's not that big a deal. And then the fact that it's just the ease of doing it on the rotisserie, because bending over and painting rockers is not fun. You need a lift. You need what you need is a pit that you can put your car on. You can lift it up and do the lower stuff, and then lower it down into the pit so you can reach in and do the top stuff without
Yeah.
having to get on a stool or get underneath it.
Well, you've seen how I do it, but yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Doyle. My wife gets me a new storage cabinet for Christmas, so at least I can hide some of the overflow of parts removed. Okay, so your wife got you a new storage. Okay, that's a good thing. Rick Robert, there's a guy in Georgia that's really good at Mustang bodywork. Perhaps you could work a trade for some good traditional Texas barbecue.
Yes, yeah, and I can do the body work. I don't enjoy it like you do. I don't enjoy it, and it takes me longer.
I'm telling you, I'm weird.
Yeah.
I like sanding. I like grinding. It's like I
Hmm.
just get off in my own little world when I do that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and talking about the shelf thing,
Look at
that
that.
that all of that is most all that is parts to go on the Mustang now.
Nice.
Everything but these seats right here, they have got to find a new home,
Yeah.
to the point where there are times I've thought about just taking those seats, just throwing them out the door and putting them on the curb. They're heavy, they're bulky, they're not going back in the car because they're not comfortable, and
Right.
and I'm not a purist, so yeah.
I I could see that. I'm trying to remember now. I know that. Well, I know that the blue car. I don't think it has any seats. I think we talked about that. I need
Yeah.
at least a back seat. But yeah.
Well,
Um, but I don't know
February,
what I'm going to do with that yet.
hey,
Because
February's coming up, so our first swap meet is not too far off.
yeah,
Well, actually, I think there's one in January. We've got a small one, but the bigger one's in February. That's up the road from me. So,
I don't know. You see the TMI stuff all the time,
hmm,
and do they sell like an actual entire seat, or just a recover kit?
all I've seen is the kits,
Okay,
because I think you'll have to buy the seat from
the frame.
reproduction or a used one. They have
Yeah,
some pretty cool kits. I like their more modern pads and stuff for like the 5.6s, and the back seat looks. Be honest, the back seat looks better than the front. The
yeah.
way they do with that, it's pretty cool.
Well, I've thought about if I get to the point where I can do something with the blue car. Like I was at the U Pullet yard, walking around, going, oh,
Hmm.
oh, wait a minute. Like there's like a Mazda 3 my
Hmm.
son had. Nice side bolsters, very well fitting seat. I'm like,
That's what I'm thinking too. Is just walk around the yard with some measurements, with them tape measure things, and sit. And it's like, that's nice. It's like I can always take it and have somebody recover it.
yeah,
There's places around that do that.
yeah,
So, or maybe even find a kit online that fits that in the color you want, and just redo it that way.
that's true too. Let's see. Jerry says, no, it will be what we planned. She says black and gray, and hee hee.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what actually happens. But I do have the paint for the dash and the interior, which will contrast with the black nicely. It'll contrast with it.
Canary yellow.
Yeah, with purple pinstripes on it
Yeah.
and little darts at the ends.
Have you ever seen that Mustang that's been on the internet? It's like a rainbow My Little Pony 68.
I don't remember if I've seen that one or
Oh
not.
my gosh.
I don't
I've
want
posted
to.
it a few times when people said, "I'm looking for ideas to paint my Mustang." I'm like, "Boom. Here you go."
pick pick one.
It's
Throw
got
a
like
dart.
it's
Throw
got
a
like
dart. And pick.
rainbow stripes going down the side, and it's got a literally like, oh, it has a unicorn horn
Mhm.
on the front of it. It's just like some
Oh,
art
gee.
piece. Really bad, really bad.
Yeah, we saw a van that was kind of interestingly painted today, and I called it the Purple People Eater.
Yeah. Well, if you Googled unicorn Mustang, it'll pop right up.
I really don't want to.
Oh yeah, you want to see it. You want to see it. Everybody look up unicorn Mustang later, not right now. So Donnie is saying noted, and yes, Harvey Rally Cat Garage. Thank you. Okay, that's for the information there. And Donnie is laughing at Rick. Doyle, I put seats in my '73 Fiat Spider for my Ford Tempo. Both front and rear fit great. Newer Mustang seats could be an option. They could be. Ones
The
I've
height
seen though.
problem.
What's that?
The height is the issue
Yeah.
because these cars are so short. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of room. When you put a headrest on a seat, it's like, whoa, it's at the ceiling.
Well, but as long as it's not, I mean, your head's up there anyway, so you kind of want that.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a, I mean, it looks goofy in these cars, but it serves the purpose.
yeah,
So
yeah. And with the fastback, it would be a lot more difficult because you're even lower than you are with the coupe, and that's a little bit. It's not a
yeah.
huge amount, but
Well,
yeah,
I think that the trick is to put in the seat pans from a like what a '69. I think the '69 had lower seat pans.
yeah, or um, the Mercury, um,
Cougar.
Cougar,
Yes.
The Cougar pans are shorter.
Okay.
And then and it's something you use the Cougar pans, and then you use the carpet for like a 70 or 69 or 70, and everything kind of works out.
Yeah.
Or you can just cut your pans and lower them and do that as well.
Yeah.
There's
I don't know which would be easier though. It's kind of nice to have one that's already shaped to the floor pan, and you just drop it in and weld it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've done it before. I've taken something like that and cut it up and made it
Hmm.
work. But it's funny. We were talking about seats here a second ago. Years ago, and I regret selling this one too. There's a couple things I regret selling. One of them, I had a '47 Studebaker truck that I was turning into a hot rod, and this is early '90s. And I had the firewall built all out of 1/8 inch steel. Looked great. I actually had it on a frame. I could fire it up. I could drive it around the yard. I mean, it was progressing. And I found a pair of seats out of a Fiero,
Hmm.
and those things they had speakers built in,
Yep.
and they fit that truck just like I needed them to.
Hmm.
And then I ended up selling the truck, and I kept the seats for a period of time. And then somebody else was building another truck, not a Studebaker, but something
Hmm.
else. And I said, I think I got a pair of seats, and they were like, I'll take them. And of course, they would have still been sitting in the barn all these years later if I hadn't got
Yeah.
rid of them. But yeah, those were comfortable seats
My
for what they were.
my back seats, both of my the seat, the back and the bottom, they're outside the door, outside. I have them just sitting outside. Oh, it's covered. I mean, it's out of the rain and everything, but I've got them just sitting out there on the concrete because I don't have anywhere to put them, and they're going to get recovered, sandblasted, painted, the frame.
Right.
So, even if it does get wet, who cares? It really doesn't change anything.
Oh yeah, Doyle says. Plus, you get tilt and shoulder harnesses instead of just lap belts. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and that's something else I wish I would have researched a little bit more. When I put the shoulder belts in Jade, I went to the factory location where they would have
Hmm.
had the strap belt. And in hindsight, I should have moved it forward, I believe. I think it's too far back because it takes up length out of the strap. And whenever you buckle it, you run out of, like, you can't pull it down far enough.
Mm.
in order to get the belt connector connected. Like you
Hmm.
can, but it's like it's kind of high on your midsection. And so in hindsight, I would have moved that mount point further forward. So if you're looking into those, consider that idea. Look at your everyday car you have, and find that location point. Because like
Hmm.
everything we have now, SUV and everything, it's on the B pillar. It's
Hmm.
right there on the B pillar. On those Mustang, like Jade, it's way back in that
Hmm.
roof, and that's something I would change in the future on the next build. I would
Hmm.
move that and get it to be more practical.
Yeah, it's like, and when I on the inner rockers, I added the extra big old plate for the extra mount, because all I did was, since I had the end of the thing open at the time, I just took a stick and a magnet and just ran it all the way down to the end,
Yeah.
and then just threaded because I had the whole threaded, just pulled it to it, plug welded it, it's in place and done.
Yep.
I didn't have to cut into it like you did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Doyle. I also put the two front seats from a AMC Pacer in a '69 Chevy C10. They were wide and filled the whole cab.
those were comfortable seats.
Now,
That was a comfort. It was an ugly car, but it was a comfortable car. You could sit
yeah.
in it. The seats are big and comfortable. You had all kinds of room around you. You
He just
know,
triggered a my '72 Chevy 4x4 that I still want to find. I wish I that's the number one truck I never should have sold. Let me just see if I know I have a picture of it up here. I've shown it before. Got a picture of me and my grandmother standing beside this truck. That truck, I I just it just came to me. I had seats in that out of an AMC Matador. Okay, but it was like a Matador, whatever their SS model was. Like
hmm.
it was. I remember. I'm just like, just all this memories flood back. This thing was like, I won't say canary yellow, but it was yellow. No,
Mm.
no, it was a two door. Well, it was a Matador, but it was a two door. Had a console, floor shift. I mean,
Hmm.
it was like the
Wow.
SS version. I say Matador. It may have been, what was another one they had? Ambassador or something?
Yeah, the Matador, the Javelin,
It wasn't a
the
Javelin. It wasn't
um,
an AMX. Um,
oh shoot.
but it was like this GT special car that was wrecked or something at the junkyard, and those seats were really nice.
Hmm.
And I yanked those out and threw them in my truck, and they fit really really nice.
But talking about AMC's, I miss the Gremlin that we used to have. We had in Hawaii, we had a Gremlin, and I remember that thing. We'd be going down the hill, and it would die going down a hill for whatever reason. It'd be like, my dad would be like, start, start, start.
Yeah.
Normally by the bottom of the hill, he'd get it restarted. It was something you bought off the lemon lot on base. That's what everybody did.
So Dave Tyson saying SST, and Doyle says an AMC Rebel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still want to say it was a Matador or something. So if they made a Matador SST or something, I don't know.
Don't know.
Um,
Oh, Concord. Yeah. Yeah. Hers. Yeah.
Jerry says Mr. Concord. Okay.
Yeah. She had a 78, 79. I can't remember right now. Concord.
Yeah.
And we were at one of the swap meets a couple of years ago, and there was one that was 1 year off from hers. Beautiful car. I mean, it was very well done. Um, just was not. It's not something we were,
No, you don't
you
want to
know.
get one and
No.
have it as a driver. So Mr. Mikey says a Hornet. No, the car I was talking about was not a Hornet. I know that much. And
Mm.
Jerry says it was a '79
Yeah.
Concorde. Oh, let me tell you. Speaking of cars and past whatever, I saw a video today. You talk about however the market is insane. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It was an auction for an '89 Chevy Blazer. Okay, '89.
Yeah.
So '88, because like they kept the Blazer. It said '89 on the ad, but they kept the Blazer body. Like the '88 was the transition year.
Yeah.
Well, I think they like the Suburban and the Blazer, they kept that body a few years after that. So the truck,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know, when it came out
Yeah.
in '88, it was more rounded, a little bit in the front, whatever. But they kept the Blazer and the
Hmm.
Suburban. 18 original miles on this thing.
Wow.
18 original. So did, you know, the original tires, everything. I
Hmm.
mean, it was an original '89 Blazer. I didn't
Mm.
watch the whole video because the bidding had hit $120,000 before I turned it off. I don't know what it ended up being, but can you imagine why on earth is somebody bidding 100 and X number thousands of dollars for an '89
Mm.
Blazer? Now, granted, 18 miles, I get it,
Hmm.
but on a good day, that thing shouldn't bring 35,000, 40,000, in my opinion. On a good day,
I mean, I like those Blazers. A friend of mine had a 85, I think it was, and that thing was, you needed a ladder to get in it, kind of.
yeah.
But they were fun. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it just, you could beat them up and bounce them around. And they just kept going. But oh, did they ride horribly?
yeah.
The ride was horrible.
Bob Knowles says AMC Rebel. I, I can't say it was a Rebel. I'm really thinking it was a Matador that I took these seats out of. I really think it was.
I'm trying to think of what
Daniel
else.
Merrick
I don't remember.
getting ready to pull the 390 out of my 69 Mach 1, having a board and stroke FE built. 445 cubic inches, should be ready by spring. I want to get it done by May of this year. So that's his resolution. Awesome. Glad you're here,
Hmm.
Daniel. Haven't seen your name before, so that's cool. New watcher. That's good. Tommy, I put Jaguar power seats in a 1991 Ford F-150. Was fun. I'll bet. I'll bet. Anything Jaguar related, I can't say is fun.
Yeah. Well, when you put the Chevy engine, drivetrain in it and all that, then it's a fun car.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. When you
but
build
it's
it
not
right.
fun doing all of that.
No.
It's more fun to just let somebody else do it, sell it, let them take a loss on it, and you enjoy it.
Yeah. Dave says I believe it's that Blazer sold for 125,000, and think it was Rick Hendrick that bought it.
Hmm.
I just can't believe it. I mean, I don't understand.
But it's like I've said before. The one thing I would like of cars like that is somebody just document the heck out of that car, take pictures and video all over it in measurements. That
Right?
way, people have it for reference for restorations and stuff like that. Because that information's hard to get.
Yeah,
What it really looked like when it was new.
I agree. Dave says Barry, I sent you a link to a picture of a really nice pair of Matador seats. Yes, I was that may be similar to what I was talking about, but I can't fully remember. The ones I had were black. I can't pull that picture up. It's got to be downloaded for me to get it. It doesn't work as well. But yeah, that may be similar to what I was talking about. Rick is saying, Donnie Williams, did you have the Model T pickup? Did your dad have the Model T pickup in Plainfield, New Jersey? Okay, we'll find out. Dave Britton says, very nice looking seats. Yes, they were. And Dave Tyson says, because they can.
Oh, the price of the
Yeah,
truck.
because Rick Hendrick. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got money to just throw away.
It's the I want that, nobody else has that, and hey, you know,
Well,
no,
yeah,
from our point of view, we look at it as like, we think of it, even if we had it, was like, I wouldn't spend that on that. But then again, you're not in that position. So you
yeah.
don't know.
Michael Peglerini, like that Mustang from Bullitt, went for 3.3 million. Yeah.
Mm.
Do we still know who bought that thing?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen
I
it.
don't know if it ever got released.
There she is.
Simone is checking in. Glad you're here. Hope all is well. Hope you had a happy New Year.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what the who bought the Bullitt,
Not
you
a
know,
clue.
but I can tell you it was fun. I did a video on that car.
Yep. I
I got
remember
to
that.
see it in person and interview the owner and all that stuff, and that was actually pretty fun because I didn't think about it at the time. Now, put in perspective, we all know it's a rare car, right? And we all know that it's got its own life and history and all those sort of things. And so here they have it in this trailer. They've got it roped off so people can't get close to it and all that stuff. And I'm talking to the guy, and I'm just like putting my hands on it. I'm just, hey, let me look up. You know, I just and nobody says a word to me about it. Like, don't do that. You know, but they also knew that I wasn't trying to damage it or anything like that. But I just thought it was funny that that's probably the most expensive car that I've ever put my hands on.
That kind of reminds me of, and I know a lot of people here probably been to the Air Force Museum in Wright Pat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, up until recently, they used to have a hangar over on the base that had the presidential planes and another one that had all of the experimental aircraft. So you had the XB, the one with the wings that went down, the supersonic one. You had that. You had the everything. You name it, it was over there. And the little black thing, the supersonic one that was the rocket.
Yeah.
And
The
all that
X2
stuff
or
is just,
something.
yeah, and all the things, the X whatever it is, but it's all crammed in there.
Yeah.
And it was nice when it was over there because there were no ropes or anything. You just wandered in between them, and it's like you're just looking up, trying to look through the window inside it, and you
Yeah.
put your hands on it, and and it's kind of the nice thing about that is it's kind of like when you go to places, we get to go to Greece, and you get to go up the Parthenon, you get to walk on this stuff, you get to see that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to see it; it's another thing to put your hand on it.
Yeah.
And say, yeah, I'm here. I got to touch that. And now you're a part of the history instead of just seeing the history,
That's true.
There's, it doesn't make, for some, it might not be a big deal, but when you can get up there and put your hands on it, it's like, yeah, I'm really touching this thing that did whatever it did, there was just something to that. But now that they've moved it over and it's all behind little, velvet ropes and stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, there it is. Big deal.
So Dave Conwell says now there's a hunt for the Bullet Charger. I'm pretty sure it blew up in a gas station, or gas whatever it was that they launched that thing into. I mean, I'm sure there was more than one car.
Yeah,
but I don't know if there was more than one car. Maybe they just took that one car and just used it and let's just blow it up at the end, make sure it's gone.
Or like a lot of, it's so funny to watch a lot of movies and TV shows, and the nice car's going off, and then all of a sudden we switched to a totally different car and blew that one up.
Well, yeah.
The average person won't see it, but everybody else is like, that's not the same car.
Yeah. Well, it's like Vanishing Point is well known for that, where they switched out to a Camaro at the end. In fact, they even left the Camaro on the back of the car. You can see it in the video. It's like, come on, who's editing this? But if you look at the original Gone in 60 Seconds, the car they throw into the Crusher is like a real Challenger, whatever, Barracuda, whatever. It's like a real car.
Yeah.
And they just.
But you only do that one time. You don't do a retake on that.
Oh no, not especially that movie. They didn't do any retakes.
Yeah.
Chris Greenaway said Vanishing Point, yes. Jerry got to I guess got to go. See y'all next week. Okay, glad you're here, Jerry. Dave Britton, a stunt driver, died in that one, or one of Charger that crashed in the movie Bullet. Okay, I did not hear that. That's the first I've heard of that. I'll take your word for it though. And Rick says Bullet Charger may have been repainted to look like a General Lee and destroyed in the Dukes of Hazzard. I know they used the soundtrack for the movie for the closing credits of the Dukes of Hazzard. Interesting. I hadn't heard that either. And anymore, all the General Lees that are out there are basically sheet metal welded onto a Crown Vic. Although, I do know where there is, I believe it's a 68 Charger that's sitting not 3 miles from me.
What was it? They did had like 600 or 700 of those cars for the TV show.
I don't think it was that many. I was quite a few.
I saw some numbers that were like they were figuring anywhere from this to this number because they weren't really sure, how many they went through. But it was a lot of cars.
Yeah. They destroyed a bunch of those And of course, now they do the reenactment thing where they take a Crown Vic and they weld a body onto it and just launch it and smash it.
But even those body panels in bad shape are worth a fortune today.
Well, yeah, but what they're using now is they're using like rotted out stuff, and
Oh, okay.
they just slather it up with Bondo just to get the shape back, or
Yeah.
they'll use aftermarket panels from AMD or whatever and build a body.
Yeah, those aren't cheap either.
Well, no, but for what
Yeah.
they're doing,
Yeah.
you know. Let's see. Chris says Mercs aren't popular. Not as
No,
popular.
no.
At least not movie cars. Driving a Stacy's Cougar sold for 26 to 27,000. Okay. Dave Britton, what is the story on the Charger near you? Going to fix it up one day. I'll just put it this way, without giving out any specific details. There is a wooded area that is not far from me. That in the wintertime, when all the leaves are gone, you can see cars sitting in the woods, and they are not just like lined up. These are just random wherever. I'm not going to say that I went onto this property. Somebody else may have done it, and they may have walked around and taken some pictures, and I saw those pictures. That's all I can say.
I would assume just somebody would use one of those telephoto lenses from a
No,
distance.
I think this person actually went and used
Oh,
like their
okay.
camera phone and took pictures, and then I saw those pictures.
Sure,
But
sure wasn't or sure wasn't somebody with a drone just flying around and taking
well,
pictures.
it could have been, but it was these were up close and really detailed. But anyway, there was a 68 Charger there. I say 68. It might have been 68, 69. But what's crazy about that car is the body color is like a cream beige, except for where the paint is coming off on the driver's door,
Mm-hmm.
where it has '01 in orange. It has the
Mm-hmm.
General Lee '01 painted on it, and then somebody painted over this with the original color.
Like somebody was trying to hide the fact of what it was, so people
Maybe,
didn't just it's like because
maybe.
that screams like a sore thumb if it's that color.
So I'm just saying. But there
Yeah.
was also like a 71. I say 71 Ford LTD two-door hardtop.
Mm-hmm.
You never see those.
No.
No. So two-door hardtop LTD. There was a Ford cab over pickup, the van pickup,
Yep.
which I
Yep.
like those a lot.
Yeah.
There was one of those in there. There was another old Chrysler Imperial in there. There was a Triumph TR6 or something. Oddball, just random.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're still there.
But speaking of the LTD, my grandmother's last car was a '73 LTD. Just like big black, and and the neighborhood kids would always joke with her, said, she drives the mafia car, and she lived in Detroit.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that car went to the junkyard with like 22,000 miles on it because it was so rusted out.
yeah,
It was you could see through the floors, you could see through the trunks, the bumpers. The chrome bumpers are like this, right?
yeah.
Well, this was rusted out. That's rusted out. That's rusted out. On both sides behind the wheels. So she kept putting duct tape over it, and it was all held together with duct tape.
Well, this one is the traditional brown. I think all LTDs were like black or brown or cream colored, and like a buckskin colored interior or something. I've been trying to make contact with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would assume other people have been trying to make contact with this guy too, but I don't know. I saw him one time out driving around. He has like a 71 or 72 Chevy truck he drives around.
Mm.
And I could probably get my foot in the door by saying, "Hey, I had one of these trucks or whatever,"
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
Jerry. I had a friend of mine whose family had identical year 68 or 69 Chargers in 3 different colors, and they were in awesome shape. Okay, that's cool.
One of these days, I've got to see if I can get some pictures to put on here for you. Of my uncle's is Super B and Roadrunner that he used to have before he got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know where that went. Yeah,
Rick says my friend that built the engine for my Mustang, his dad has a '69 Hemi 4-speed Charger, beautiful car. Oh wow.
mm.
Ooh, that's worth some
That
money.
yeah, and I would love a convertible Hemi Cuda, like the Nash Bridges one, something like that.
Yeah.
Would love to do one of those. And I remember when that show was on, I want to say the place in El Paso was selling them for like 30 grand. When that show was on, and they were selling, it's perfect car, beautiful car.
Yeah.
Like even at the time for 30 grand, that was a heck of a deal back then.
Yeah.
And now as you start adding extra digits to the front, to that now, but they're just they don't exist. They don't exist, and parts are a fortune.
Yeah. Rick says another YouTuber went onto somebody's property that had a car for sale, took a video and posted it to YouTube. He was arrested for trespassing, and it cost him over 10,000 in fines. Yeah, yeah, I definitely don't recommend doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Chris says my mentor's boss has, I believe, 4 or 5 of the Hemi darts.
Mm.
Well, that's a rare item.
That was a big engine in a little car.
Yeah. Well, I'm still trying to find. I need to talk to my son again, because he had said a friend of his his mom has a 71 Challenger sitting in her garage that belonged to her dad, and she doesn't know what to do with it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
give me the information.
We can find numerous homes for that car.
Oh yeah, I can
Yeah.
help. I can help
You know,
one way or another.
well, I got the kid that lives on the corner over here that bought his grandfather's house. Great kid, awesome neighbor. You couldn't ask. I mean, he's 20 something. Couldn't ask for a better neighbor to have over there. And he's a car guy.
Yeah,
He is an import car guy, but a friend of his that was he was family's got property, and a little bit of property with the farm, and he had a nice collection of stuff that he was going to restore. Well, he went off. I think he was military, some sort. I don't remember what, but he had to. He got deployed for 2 years. He came back. He got back, and mom sold every single one of his cars, and we're talking, 71 El Caminos, Chevelles, and a number of other cars, and
yeah,
sold them all for scrap metal. Sold every one of them for scrap metal, and it just I feel so sorry for him.
yeah.
And after that, he was like, I think it was one of those is like, yeah, don't talk to mom anymore.
Well, I can relate. I can relate. Some of the stuff my dad did, and my brother, he sold my '67 Belvedere, and I still don't know how he sold it because in Pennsylvania you have to have a title, and I have the title in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody may have turned it into a stock car for all I know, but yeah, sold my '67 Belvedere. Thanks, bro.
Mm.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Mm.
Let's see. Chris says plum crazy white vinyl interior and white vinyl top with the white RT decals. I'm in. Yeah. Yeah.
Earlier somebody was asking you about your Mr. Cool unit,
Yeah.
and remember I sent you that link to that mini split.
With the solar.
Yeah, but to catch everybody else up, there is a company, and the name just escapes me right now. It's like E3E something. They're big into like solar inverters and batteries and stuff like that.
Okay.
But they're out in East Texas, and they have mini split air conditioners like Mr. Cools. They're not the easy to install like that. They have the flare fittings and all that. But what's cool about them is if you want to do something with your shop, you can put those in. They're efficient, and they have 2 little wires sticking out of it, or connectors, where you can take solar panels, throw them on your roof, plug them into it, and that will supplement or replace all of the grid power you need to run that unit, depending on how many panels you put up in your sunlight.
Yeah.
So I mean, so anybody is like, I mean, this is a perfect place to do it. But anybody else is looking into that might want to look into it, because it's like you can put the unit in. Yes, it costs more than some others when you put it in, but hey, later on you can put panels up and then plug into it, and eventually cover most or all of your daytime running costs on that.
Yeah.
It's really something to look into now. you
Yeah,
know,
that's a good idea.
especially for a shop. And then it's like, well, you just let it run. Then you don't need as big of a unit because you can just let it heat all the time when the sun's out. You can set it on the little app and said sun's out, kicks on, it runs.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything, with having to wait for it to heat up or wait for it to cool down.
Simone says that's harsh talking about the
Yeah,
my brother. Well, your situation and my brother
yeah,
selling my car. Yeah, not good. Steve Willett. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're here, Steve.
yeah,
Just in time
yeah,
because I'm not going to be on much longer. I can tell you that.
yeah. I'm sitting about as long as I can, and
Yeah, yeah. I need to get in the house and get something to eat. So,
well, I sent you some leftovers, but it'd be kind of cold by the time I got there.
well, I've got leftover kibasi,
Oh,
sauerkraut, pork loin, mashed potatoes. So I'm good to go on that. Oh, Steve sent me a picture, and he sent me on a messenger. So he pulled his new project into the shop. So he's got hard to see it, but it's a nice shop there
mm-hmm.
with a 60. Looks like a 65. Can't tell for sure.
He needs to fill up the shop with just assorted crap, kind of like I did.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, it accumulates. It does.
That looks good, Steve. I like it.
Yeah,
Oh, he says he just installed a Mr. Cool 36K.
nice. That
Nice.
I could do with. I mean, I've got a 2-ton window unit, but for summertime, once I get more insulation here, I could do with 2 1-tons, especially those you could just let them run at like a keep it from getting 105 degrees in here, and then it
Yeah.
would cool down quicker when you want to come in.
Yeah. Dave Britton says I once knocked on a door to ask about an old car, and the guy came to the door and yells at me, "That is personal." I thought he was going to hit me. Yeah, I will say I'm not afraid to go knock on somebody's door. I've done it before, and like I did a video on a '69, I think it was a '69, no '70 fastback, a red one that's been sitting under a carport for decades.
Yeah,
And I was very laid back with the guy. I said, "Hey, I'm just driving by. I saw the car." He said, "It's not for sale." I said, "I don't want to buy it. I'm not interested in buying it. I want to make a video of your car. And if you're interested, that's fine. If you're not, that's fine too."
mm-hmm.
And I let it go a week or so. Called the guy up again. He said, "Yeah, come on by." So I made that video, with his
Mm-hmm.
permission. So sometimes you can not. I understand where Dave's coming from. People get offended. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, okay, I'm not. I'm just asking."
Well, they think you're just like trying to come rip them off, or
Yeah.
a vulture or something.
Simone, I have a question. What happens if you lose a title or you find an abandoned car without any paperwork? Well, a couple things.
Varies.
Yeah, it varies by state. That's the challenge here. In the state of Georgia, you don't even need a title if it's over 25 years old. Any car over 25 years old, you don't need a title. A bill of sale written up. I can tell you this. I wouldn't be surprised if people just write up their own bill of sale with a car they found in a barn and says, "Yep, I got it right here," and just register it. Unless somebody reports it as stolen, nobody's going to know.
Mm-hmm.
But you typically have an abandoned car. You get a search by actually paperwork you can file with the police. They come out and they research the VIN number and they find out if it has ever been reported stolen, and then go from there. So if it's not stolen, they don't care. They're like almost like, well, do what you want with it, kind of thing. At least that's
Mm-hmm.
how the response I get here in Georgia.
There's there is another law in the books here in Texas that was passed years ago, and it had to do something with if it hadn't been registered in X number of years, they made it much easier to title it.
Yeah,
To but I'll have to do some digging one of these days and see if I can actually find it and see what it says. Um, but Texas is pretty strict on a lot of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
It's not the easy going free state that a lot of people think it is. It's very there's a lot of paperwork with a lot of things here. A lot of
yeah.
regulation, a lot of that stuff that goes on, and a lot more inspections and stuff like that than most states have.
Simone says over here we need to have a document called a V5C with a receipt of sale. So that doesn't sound too complicated.
But it's like if you lose the title, all you do is file for a lost title, and you
Yeah.
go in, you pay it, they mail you a new one.
Well, see what's
Assuming they have paper. There has
yeah,
been a shortage of title's been hard to get for a while because there's a shortage of the specific
special
fancy
paper.
paper because all those companies were making toilet paper.
Yeah.
So they stopped making. Yeah. So yeah, it takes a really long time to get them now, just because getting the paper to do it.
Chris, my dad's brother's widow's boyfriend, owns a 65 to 66 Plymouth Satellite with the plexiglass and the Hemi factory racer car. That's
Mm.
cool. That's cool. And he says, but I'm not a Mopar guy. Yeah. He also says it's obviously not important if it's a lawn ornament to you. My dad said when he drove past a 69 Mach 1 Cleveland 4-speed maroon. um,
Mm.
Steve, if the state requires a title, you apply for a lost title. If the VIN comes back with a lien, then it may go to court. Yeah, the like here in Georgia, I mean, you have to have the title in your name to apply for a lost title. I know that much. Um, Otherwise, a bill of sale just is a clean slate. Like my '55 Chevy that I had. Um, it had a VIN number mounted to the A pillar windshield frame, but we didn't know anything about it. And so I knew a police officer, and I said, "Hey, check this out for me." He checked it out. He said, "It's clean, nothing, no records of it, so you're good to go." I said, "Okay, I'm set." But yeah, it'll vary because most of the computer systems that they use function on a 17-digit VIN code,
Mm-hmm.
not the old school stuff. So those numbers don't even really matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't have 17 digits, it really doesn't even show up. So it's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But hey, I need to get in the house.
Yeah.
I got to get something
I
to eat.
can't sit any longer.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you go, Robert. I do
All
thank
right.
you for being here and
Yeah.
sharing content with us.
Yep. And I
So
will. I'll get some progress on the car here really soon. But to be honest, my big thing that I'm really gonna need to get done is getting the house done.
yeah.
That's really
Well,
what we got to get done. That's, to be honest, that's more important than getting the car done.
I got you.
Well, no, that's not just that.
I'm just teasing.
I want it done. I
I
just
get
don't
it.
want. I want it done. I don't want to mess with it. So you know how it goes.
I know how it goes. I do.
Yeah. Night, everybody.
All right. We'll see you. I've got a couple. Giacomo, how many miles can a Honda Civic last with maintenance? Kind of. That's a unlimited number in my opinion. With proper maintenance, you can get probably. I know somebody who's driving a Honda Civic right now. It's a 1992. It has 450,000 miles on it. He's the original owner. That much I know. Simone says, if we find a car here, we can't do anything if the previous owner is not there. Good night, everyone. Okay. So that's going to be it. Oh, Robert's still hanging out. He's gone. Okay. So I appreciate everybody being here and participating. This is the first, live stream of the year. And I'll be back next Monday. So I guess that'll be the 9th? Yeah, that makes sense. So hopefully I can get a video up soon on the Bronco. If not, I'll be doing one on this multi-function pressure washer, air compressor, jump starter, flashlight, a little bit of everything. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.